All right, we're back with our first very episode. So we're not back. We're first. We're here. We're here with our first episode of the Tip of the Hershberg, a new podcast. Tip of the Hershberg. What do you think? Do you like it?
Can I talk?
Yeah, you're on there. Yeah.
I love it.
You love it?
Yeah.
This is our first guest, historical. This is like our first guest, Sam Evans.
Yeah,
is in the house.
You really picked a banger to bring this one in on. Everybody likes it when they start their podcast with, who's that guy?
Well, I wanted to have someone where, if I fucked up, you'd be cool with it.
There were low stakes.
Low stakes. I wanted real low stakes for this one.
I wanted someone who had nothing else going on.
I'm not bringing Bill Burr in for the first one.
If I waste their time,
I won't feel bad.
Who gives a shit?
I was like, who can I waste their time and not feel guilty about? And you were, after I asked 4 other people who couldn't do it. But that's good. You weren't top of the mind.
Yeah.
Of people can waste their time. I asked other people first.
Yeah.
Steve Rogers, he was busy.
I was just with Steve. I want you to know he was not busy.
Well, that's what he told me.
Literally was writing jokes.
He said he was opening for Brian Regan at 2 p.m. today. But this is a podcast I'm starting where, it's my first podcast. I did one with Joe, and it fizzled out a little. And so I'm doing my own where, we talk shit about movies. I have friends over, not just movies. We'll figure out the concept as we go. I'm thinking the idea is that I record a conversation with a friend each week and share it. What do you think?
I'm excited. What I'm getting so far is that you have no idea for mediocre guests. That seems to be the conceit of this podcast.
Well, I want to talk first about something I found interesting. We both went to the bathroom before this.
That's right.
And you went first.
Yeah.
So I got to hear.
Did I piss on the seat or something?
No. That would be crazy. This is gotcha journalism in here. Here is the toilet bowl with the pee on it. That's the idea for the podcast. I get each person to go to the bathroom before it.
Yeah, and we see what they did
and we have a video of it. Yeah. And we play it. And I see here, you wash your hands for 0.5 seconds. Don't you feel like you could have just washed it for nothing at that point? But I was listening. I was eavesdropping.
On my sound.
And your sound, yeah. And I know, I was just standing there. But,
it echoes.
But I noticed you really dry your hands thoroughly.
I don't like to have wet. Is that a sincere comment?
I'm serious, yeah.
I don't like to walk out of once we got high-powered hand dryers in society, I realized I'm using this to its completion. I don't like to touch someone's hands when my hands are wet.
Now, for the young people listening, back in the day, it wasn't always civilization did not begin with high-powered hand drying.
We used to have hand dryers that were just a suggestion of warm air. It's like your grandma just being like, that was what
it didn't really do anything.
That was the hand dryer and
I guess when we were born, we're all around the same age, I think, or close to it. But did we came from a time, I'm sure it was just no hand dryers, right? Was there always hand dryers in our lifetime?
I remember ever since I was a kid that there was, but it was more often than not, you would have paper towels.
Paper towels.
In fact, I think I remember bathrooms being renovated at my elementary school and coming back from a summer vacation, and they had hand dryers. This
is what happens when you don't have a plan for a podcast. You're 20 minutes deep into. So it was paper towels before.
It was, yeah. I am having a good time. This is the most boring topic. It was
paper towels, and then it went to head. But so now that they're effective, but you did it the whole time. The whole I guess you press it now and then it goes the whole time, or how does it work? I don't.
No, they're all motion sensors. You don't use the dryer?
I didn't. Well, this is what's so interesting. I'm outing myself. I didn't even wash my hands.
Okay.
I didn't even wash my hands. I'll wash my hands if someone else is in there.
Sure.
But if someone's not in there, I don't touch my dick. I pull it down, piss, don't even touch it.
You don't touch your dick?
I don't think so,
But then you don't shake your dick.
I shake a little.
You need to... What do you mean? You move your body?
I do no hands. All right, I touch my dick, but I don't care. I was lying.
That is.
I was lying. I touched my dick. But
That's
slightly.
another pet peeve. I don't like a spot of piss on the inside of my underwear. Once you do a thorough job shaking and you realize you don't have to live like that anymore.
Right.
I don't just shake it. I milk it.
But even when I wash my hands most of the time.
I feel like you gave me nothing on the fact that I milk my penis.
No, that's funny. That's good.
Okay.
It's good. I miss, I'm not.
Sorry.
A lot of times when I do podcasts, like my own back in the day, like I'll like re-listen to it and I'll be like, oh, I didn't listen to anything the other person said. They had some gold. Like
You're just waiting for your turn to talk.
That's what we're all doing, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you haven't heard a thing I've said.
No, not even a little bit. Keep going.
But no, say it again. We'll go back and yeah.
Well, I just don't like any spot. I have to touch my dick because I don't like any spot of piss on the inside of my underwear. It irritates me. Of
course.
If I feel wetness on the tip of my penis as I'm walking through my day, it's not even that it feels gross. I'm just like, it's uncomfortable to me.
Of course. I mean, I don't get pee in but yeah, of course, I'm not an animal. You're like talking to me like, I'm weird. I get uncomfortable when there's urine
You're
on
a
me.
little bit of an animal. You just said, I didn't wash my hands.
Well, this time. Sometimes I wash it.
Sometimes.
I didn't do it this time for the podcast bit.
Yeah. For not just I didn't do it this time when I'm in public, but also when there's an audio visual record. You're like, I'll do it another time.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. What really this is something that happened last night. I thought I peed the bed.
Really?
But I didn't. But I was terrified because I was sleeping with my girlfriend.
Oh, sure.
And have you ever had that fear that you're going to pee the bed?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I grew up a bed
bedwetter.
You just caught yourself.
Yeah,
You're going to keep going
listen.
and you're
Uh-huh. No, I'm trying to listen.
I grew up a bedwetter.
You grew up a bedwetter.
Yes.
I like that phrasing. Like it was a religion. I grew up
a bedwetter. But
you grew up in the bedwetting religion.
Now I'm more of
I was raised
leaker.
a bedwetter.
I'm agnostic as far as.
I grew up a bedwetter. I was grown into that. So explain that. You were wetting the bed, killing kittens.
I wore pull-ups overnight until, I want to say, maybe second or third grade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then finally grew out of it. Pull-ups.
What are pull-ups?
Pull-up. They're fucking diapers, man. Do you want me to spell it out for you?
Oh, you were using like a euphemism to be less embarrassed.
Yeah. But that's what they call
I really did not.
Don't you remember?
Like, what are pull-ups?
Pull-ups were marketed because they were, instead of like a diaper that you strap on, it was for toddlers and kids who were like still growing out of it. But you pull them on. You pull them up.
And how long were you wearing those till?
Yeah, overnight, I was wearing them probably well into second grade.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, that's not. I mean, look,
it's not. I mean, I'm talking about it now.
Yeah. So it's the second grade, and then you stop. I mean,
that might have been later.
Well, let me ask you this: what?
Yeah, like fourth or fifth.
Probably because I do. It's not even a theory. I think all our memories were something embarrassing. We always have some kind of lie in there.
Yeah, we make it way less.
Yeah, we make it way less. So that seems like when you said maybe, definitely it was till you were in middle school.
Yeah, and I probably like sleptwalked and pissed on my brother.
You're wearing it right now.
Yeah.
But so I wet the bed when I was a kid. I don't know this is an interesting thing. When does it become officially you are growing up as a bedwetter? Because I wet the bed a couple times, and I remember my dad found it. He beat me, and I'm just joking. I'm just joking. That's like the story of every serial killer. They wet the bed, and then a nurse beat them, and then they were killing cats the next week.
Yeah, they're pulling apart chipmunks.
Yeah. But I wet the bed a couple times. But you can't just wet it once and be a bedwetter.
Yeah, I think it's like
Malcolm Gladwell, 10,000 hours or something, or what?
Yeah, I think it's like a nightly. Most nights I would wear a pull-up and then I would wake up with a piss-soaked diaper on.
So it's to the point where your parents are like, we fucked up somehow.
They weren't like, we fucked up. They were just like, it's okay. And I remember not being shamed by them, which was really sweet.
That's good.
They were just like, yeah, you're just going to wear a pull-up. And then eventually it was like, it got to the point where I was like, oh, these are like dry in the morning. I think I'm good.
Okay. That was a big moment. That was where you were potty trained.
Yeah.
You were in middle school going, I know you didn't have shame as a kid, but can we bring it on now?
It's funny, though. I do remember my uncle.
Mom, Dad, I did it. They're like filming you. I did it. Your dad's upset because he wasn't home at the time. Well, you say you want to be a part of the family. You missed Sam at 14 peeing only in the toilet. I guess that is technically that moment, I'm not trying to embarrass you. I mean, I think look, I thought I wet the bed the other day. And there's a reason that is shameful that I thought that.
I can't believe we didn't get into why you thought you wet the bed.
We'll get that in a second, but it is like you were technically, I don't want to like bring shame onto you.
Oh, it's too late for that.
But you were technically, the minute you were drying there, that is the moment you were technically potty trained.
No, I don't think so. I think potty trained refers to when you are awake and you stop pissing.
Yeah, I guess you're
pants.
right. It's I guess potty trained is like deliberate.
Yeah.
Potty trained is when you're like, I'm not going to deliberately pee in my pants.
It's not like I was like lucid dreaming at the age of 8. I'm like, and now I'm going to piss.
I guess you're right. Potty trained is kind of like you got to piss. And
so you go to the bathroom.
Why did it take so long to learn how to use a bathroom? It seems so easy.
It's just not a presence of mind. I mean, I remember I have the vaguest memory of not being potty trained. I remember hanging out with my cousin and he was like, you just peed your pants. And I was not aware of it until he said it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, interesting. So you really just don't have control.
Or not even have, maybe it's not even control. It's like it's not in presence of mind. You're literally that like toddler space where you're just like, don't know to ask to go. Because, right, that's what every kid says, like parent says. They're like, tell me if you have to go to the bathroom. Mm-hmm. Say something if you have to go to the bathroom.
Right.
And it just wasn't in my mind.
Interesting.
Anyway.
That was the innocent days where you're like, hey, I think you peed yourself. And you're like, I did.
Yeah.
But I used to try to a time when that wasn't sad.
I used to try to do a bit about it because I distinctly remember like in that moment, like feel it, like no shame. And then he was like, you just peed your pants. And I was like, oh no.
Right, you had shame. Yeah. And then you felt that the pee. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I guess when you're wearing a diaper, you don't feel the pee.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess you don't have uncomfortable, because whenever like, I have nephews that they're like, did you shit yourself? And they're like, yeah, they did. I'm like, how are you not uncomfortable in your own shit?
Yeah.
I guess the feeling of being uncomfortable with shit.
Yeah.
Leaking out of your asshole, I guess that comes later. That's not innate.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Have you ever heard that? Brian Parisi has one of my favorite jokes about that, where he's babysitting his niece and he smells shit, and all of a sudden his niece is like, you pooped your pants. Just like putting it on him. What was I going to say?
That's so funny. Thinking like in their mind, they're like, this could work. This could work. Yeah. I could get out of this.
Yeah.
My parents will come over and I could convince them that the smell of shit came from my 38-year-old uncle.
And then to get out of it, he's like, I see what's happening. He goes, listen, I'll tell you the truth. I pooped your pants. I'm sorry.
That's great. I should have had him on. I'm joking.
Oh yeah, maybe you could have shamed him about skid marks in second grade.
Well, let me. I'm not doing the Mark Maron thing because I'm shaming you, but I'm not shaming myself. You got to do both.
So far, what this has been is 5 minutes of you shitting on me on the way to your shitty little story.
Yeah, my story will make it. Well, so I thought
if it wasn't piss, what was it?
Well, let me tell you why I was afraid. Okay, so when
because it's embarrassing to do that.
Let me explain why a 38-year-old peeing the bed feels like you're going back.
Yeah, because I was in the bed with a grown woman.
Feels immature. Okay, let me tell you why. So when I got on Prozac, I do remember, and it only happened once. One night, I was sleeping alone. I woke up and there was pee in the bed. I looked up. That can be a side effect when you take it,
Oh, really?
And it never happened again. But ever since then.
Like it's just an adjustment to the medication?
Yeah, or something. Yeah, but it never happened again. But ever since then, I've been terrified of that happening. You know what I mean? And I'm like, like what if I'm with a woman and there's pee in the bed, I'm just terrified, Yeah.
That's a real test, is if it's working. If you're waking up in your own piss regularly. You're like, but honestly, I feel good.
I feel really like I'm really kicking ass in life. I feel like I'm really growing as a person.
Yeah.
Prozac. That should be the commercial. They cause you to wet the bed, but you have such good self-esteem, it doesn't fuck with you. I wet the bed and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Prozac. But so it never happened again, but it was a weird thing one night. And so that was like, I don't know, 6-7 years ago. So, I was a kid, I was 32. And, and last night I found a wet spot on the bed and I was terrified. I was really terrified because there was my girlfriend sleeping there. It was like a small wet spot. And then I realized I had gotten a hand job the night before. Oh. And I think a stain had hit.
Wow.
Yeah. And I thought it was pee.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How much cum is coming out for you?
Well, I hadn't had sex in a while, so it was
like a heavy load.
It was a heavy load. And I thought I cleaned up most of it, but I missed a spot.
That's interesting. I feel like, wow, it had to be a lot of cum.
Yeah, I cum a lot.
Good for you.
I come a lot.
I feel like I come very little.
You come very little?
Yeah.
Even like the first time, you're like, that's...
I mean, if it's been a while, it's noticeably more, but it's still not. I've got like stories of friends where it's like, oh, I just covered, you know.
Well, I remember when I was a kid, I'd look at porn, and I remember, I mean, when you're younger, everyone seems taller, and I remember in porn, all jizz just seemed like a rope. Just like a, you know what I mean? Sure. It just seemed so like... Yeah. And it was never like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I come a decent amount. Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, I'm pretty fertile.
Yeah.
Come, I pee. I shit. When was the last time you shit your pants?
Probably right after I moved to New York. It was when I was dog walking, and it was like had to make it to this dog's apartment. This dog's apartment. He signed a lease.
The dog's apartment. Yeah.
The dog's doing well. Chelsea apartment. And yeah, I was like running to these people's apartments.
So just to be clear, you shat yourself on your way to having a dog shit properly.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
The dog shit. The dog should have been taking you out.
Yeah. And then got to the toilet and like got most of my shit in the toilet, but as soon as I like pull down my pants, there is...
Yeah, you got some like casualties of war.
Yeah. And it's exactly the kind of shit you think it is, where I'm like rushing. It's a sudden emergency.
The sudden emergency where it's coming out as you're running. Yeah.
And then I remember I was like, well, I can't, I'm just throwing these underwear away. But I was like, I can't throw them away in this person's house. So I used one of my dog walking bags and put my shitty boxers in it and threw them away on the street.
Yeah, well, you always have to throw it away, right? You're not bringing your shitted boxers on the subway back to waste not, want not.
These are still good. I'm gonna keep them.
It is. How'd you feel with, because the shitting yourself, but the terror of feeling like you have to shit is always so awful to me when you're walking, because I always get sweaty palms. It's almost like the shit is oozing out of my hands.
It's one of the few times in my life that I will experience flop sweat.
Yeah, flop sweat. Yeah, you get sweaty.
Yeah.
It feels like the shit oozing out. It really does. It's just like, maybe it's like the head of the shit department in there is like, maybe we can delay time by oozing a little of this out through the sweat. He's like negotiating with the sweat department. Give me 4 minutes. We'll ooze some of the shit into water out of you. Yeah. And I think he can get it in 4 minutes.
Do you ever have that where you think you're going to piss yourself and then you squeeze out like a big fart and you feel like, oh, I've got more room? It's the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
The piss guy is like, excuse me, fart? We need extra space.
Exactly. Well, I never, here's a weird thing. I never fart in public. And the reason is, I thought I just didn't fart. And then I realized, I can't tell a lot of times the difference between a fart and a shit. So I'm on the toilet no matter what. Really? So a lot of times I'm on the toilet and just farting the whole time.
I've done that before.
So to the point where I really don't fart in public, because I can't. To fart in public, you have to be so confident.
Yeah.
That it's a fart coming out. You know what I mean? And I don't have that thing in my brain. So I'd be like, oh, I shit myself. I shit myself in front of friends. I'm trying to get laughs. I don't have that, like, I don't have the whatever it's like, you know, facial blindness. I have shit fart blindness.
I'll be honest, I have always farted whenever I need to fart, with the exception of like, I'll move away from people. I'm not a monster, but like, and only once in my life have I farted and been like, that's shit, and I just shit my pants.
Well, it happens. Yeah. I remember one time I was... So I have this terrible habit of eating. I'm like an addict at heart, you know? Yeah. And even though I'm sober, and I have this terrible habit of like, whenever I have a sore throat, I'll get cough drops, right? Sure. And I'll get the sugar-free ones, which I think are actually the ones that are, I never realized this at the time, but I would just take so many of them at once, like compulsively, you know? And I didn't realize this, but they have a laxative effect. I don't know if it's the menthol or not. So one time I was driving to Comedy Off Broadway, Lexington, Kentucky. You know, I'm driving there. I'm sick, and I have cough drops. And it's a drive. You know, when you're driving, you're flying, you're just compulsively eating. Yeah. It's just a gross. I'm just putting so many of these laxative cough drops in my mouth. Not even like putting them around, just breaking them immediately. Yeah. Not using, you know, just a compulsive thing. I get to the hotel. I go on the bed. I feel sick, and I feel like I have to fart. I fart, and I shit all over the bed. It was a one time. Maybe that's why I don't ever make this.
You shit all over the bed
at the hotel.
Were you naked?
Yeah.
So you just so you're relaxing in your hotel room.
I guess now I'm thinking about it. It was a risk.
You're laying down naked on the hotel. So you don't shit your pants. You literally shit the bed.
I did the phrase. I shat the bed.
Wow.
I shat the bed.
What did you do with the bedding material?
I mean, I think I rolled it up. I think I put it in the corner, and then I think I went to a person. It was like you know, like what are they called?
Hotel
Stewardesses?
Stewardess. It's a flying hotel. I shit. What really happens? I recline my seat on an airplane.
I went to a maid. I was like, I got sick.
Okay. I mean,
And
that's
then
not
I
a
waited
lie.
for her to clean it, and then I killed her. I strangled her. I don't know. I think, you know, I mean, you're going to get, you know, yeah, it was bad. I mean, like,
Wow.
But yeah, I shat all over the bed. Because it was one time, but that was a fart where I didn't even, I think it kind of came out of me.
Yeah.
But I did it. You know when you get so sick, you don't realize how close you are to shitting?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I got so sick, I was like, oh, I think it's a little fart.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just shat all over the bed. Yeah, brutal, right?
God, that's rough. That feels like they should put that on the bag. Was it on the bag?
In very small letters, it says, you will shit yourself
If
you're a fat, disgusting piece of shit who eats them all. No, there's on the bag, it says laxative, but very small letters.
Sure.
Here's a fucked up thing. I've never shat myself again, but I still, when I have a sore throat, I still eat a bunch and get really sick. And I don't stop. It's like,
You just can't not.
I can't not do it. It's like, it's not the worst kind of addiction, but the feeling behind it.
I'm going to argue it's up there.
Yeah. Well, the feeling behind it is just, it is an insane reveal of the addictive
Sure.
thing where it's like, you know, it's like when Richard Pryor blew himself up, and like, you know, from the crack or whatever. And then after getting out of the hospital after 6 months, he immediately came back to his place and found some crack he kept hidden and just smoked.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, it's not like, yeah, it's a bad addiction.
I'm going to argue his is cooler.
It's a little,
You shat the bed. You're like, see, I'm
I'm a
kinda
rock star.
I'm kind of
I'm
like
a rock
Richard
star.
Pryor.
Yeah. I'm really like, Mick Jagger, Keith Richards.
Jagger,
Well,
Pryor.
they probably heroin,
Hershberg.
Mick Jagger or heroin. They probably shat themselves, right? People shit themselves as adults. We don't talk about it enough.
Yeah, but
it does happen.
I'm gonna remind you, in their thing, it's crack and heroin.
Yeah,
it's
which
not
is cool.
a
It's
full
not
bag of
cough
cough drops.
You're saying if I went to Narcotics Anonymous, are you saying I'd look down upon?
Cough drops are ruining my
You
life.
think it'd be a real half-baked situation when he brings up weed? Go, I'm like, yeah, I hear you, buddy. Heroin? Oh, man. Have you had Ricola?
Yeah.
Sugar-free Ricola cough drops.
What did your girlfriend say or did you make her aware of the fact?
No, she was asleep, yeah. And then I was like terrified, but then I realized I smelled it. I was like, no, it's cum. Yeah. It was like, it's cum.
You're like, that's my cum.
Yeah. But yeah, she doesn't know. I mean, I guess she'll know if she ever listens to this.
Sure.
But yeah, so, you know, cum, shit, piss,
Yeah.
facts of life. I shat myself. So that was the last time you shat yourself. It was dog walking when you got here.
Yeah.
And what did you feel like when it happened?
Not good. What kind of question? What did you feel? Oh, good.
Did you feel like it was a good idea to move to New York? Or did you
I
feel like it was
felt
a bad side?
It was. I think I probably tried to do a bit about it. You know.
Yeah, of course, to
Yeah.
deal with the trauma.
Yeah, and it is funny. You know?
Yeah, it's very funny. Yeah. I mean, I shot myself once as a substitute teacher.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, I used to do a joke about it. It was like very one-linery, but it was like the last time I shit myself was in 3rd grade.
Sure.
I was substitute teaching in English class, you know?
Yeah.
You didn't laugh. I thought it was a pretty good flip, but I guess I ruined it initially by telling you the joke.
Sure.
But that's okay, right?
Yeah, it's good. Am I just comforting you on your bits? No, it's good.
I did it once in Louis C.K. You know Louis C.K.? He came up and he said...
I've heard.
He said, it's not good enough. When you have a misdirect, it has to be... really good.
Really,
to be
really
worth it.
good.
And he said, don't jack off in front of women. It'll come back to you. He always gives you 2 advice every time.
See, and that is a pretty good misdirect.
Yeah, because misdirects, you know, that's the thing with comedy. Like, you see a lot of comics do misdirects, which are essentially impersonal and, like, not real.
Yes.
So they have to be so good to be earned. You know what I mean? You see a lot of people with a weak, that's a classic open mic thing, a weak misdirect, you know?
Yeah, I'd love to talk about comedy, but I'm going to bring you back to this shitting
Yeah,
your pants as
this
a
is not a
substitute
comedy
teacher.
podcast. This is shitting, yeah.
Tell me the actual I'm not interested in the bit. I'm interested in what happened and how you dealt with it in front of children.
Well, I think so. God, what was that? I can't try to remember what happened. Oh, it was a long time ago.
I didn't know you worked as a substitute teacher.
Yeah.
How
for
was
years.
that?
It was awful.
Yeah, you didn't like
It
it?
was awful. Well, elementary school was okay. High school was bad because, like, high school it's big kids.
Was this when you were in Kentucky, like starting out in comedy?
Yeah.
Wow.
High school was big kids, and like they just wouldn't listen to you. You'd be like, "Can you sit down?" And they're like, "No."
That's awesome.
You're just like
that's a fucking nightmare.
You're just like, okay, and then they just all see you realize you have no power.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
especially if you're a non-confrontational person.
You're like, all right, well then.
Actually, now that you're bringing it up, I do remember. Yeah, that's like the best day in high school is when you have a substitute.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a fuck about.
No, it's awful. Happen. Yeah, I mean that I could call down to the principal and have them like taken out of the room, and I think I did that a couple times.
Yeah,
but that was also just so helpless. They're all looking at me like a pussy, just calling, can I help with this student? He's not listening to me. Elementary school's a little better because some of them are still afraid of you. Yeah. That's what you need.
Sure.
I mean, they might not listen.
Fear.
You need fear, and some are not. Because you guys are a sociopath in elementary school.
Isn't that kind of funny? As a substitute teacher, it's like almost like going to prison.
Yeah, it's awful.
It's intimidation from the get.
Oh yeah, you have to find the toughest kid and make them cry.
That's why I always beat the shit out of one large 11th grader.
That's right. You got to just fucking beat them up and be like, "You next." I once had an English teacher who like literally acted like the guy from Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
He was like AP English. I swear to God, he was a great teacher, but the first day he goes, a lot of people in this class, not going to be as many as we go on. Like he was like, you're not going to make it. Like turn to your left. Not all of you are going to make it through AP English. And then I swear to God, someone like snickered. He goes, what is so funny? And they just stood there like shocked. And then he went, that's right. I didn't think so.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a good teacher though.
You should have used the shitting your pants in that favor. Like you just do it the first period, and they're like, "Dude, they got this substitute, Mr. Hershberg.
Crazy.
He shed his pants. Yeah. He's fucking nuts."
Can you sit down? No. Oh yeah. Well,
I just shit myself.
I just shit my pants. It's like in Fight Club and Brad Pitt starts punching himself, and it freaks out the mafia guy.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want to sit down? You don't want to sit down?
Let us have our club.
What are you gonna do about it? Oh, what am I gonna do about it? I just shit myself, and I'll do it again if anyone else doesn't listen to me. Now open your textbook. And I'm like, oh my God.
It's not even open your textbooks. And now we're going to watch a video.
Now we're going to watch a video. That is good. I should just take a bunch of cough drops and go when I was a substitute teacher. I'll shit. That is a good defense for most things, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're getting mugged, if you just shit yourself,
sure,
they'll probably it's kind of probably a good thing to be able to shit yourself on demand.
I used to work at a diner. This is not the same thing, but it's very similar. I used to work at a diner, and there was a manager there. This lady, her name was Timmy, excuse me. It was a lady named Timmy, hot pink hair, and like an old woman with pink hair, that kind of New Yorker, And she goes, I lived in Chelsea in like the 80s into the 90s when it was fucking rough. And she was like, I would go home from work every night, and it was like 3 blocks, almost to the water in Chelsea. And I would walk home every night at like 3:30 a.m. But when I walked, she would keep her head, and this is bad, but it kept her safe. Like she was challenged physically and or mentally. She would have her head to the side, and she would limp and like drag her foot behind her.
Like Kaiser Soze before he starts walking straight at the end.
But like worse. And she was like, sometimes like if somebody was like coming up and like they looked scary to me, I would like moan like I was like challenged.
So let me get this straight. This woman, white woman?
White woman.
This white woman, because she's afraid of black people, pretended to be mentally handicapped.
She didn't specify black people. But.
Oh, a black person. That's like a turducken of cancelable offenses.
yeah. But she was like, I never got bothered. So she's like, it's worth it. I was right.
So that one guy's like, let's beat up that retarded guy. Woman, take all her money. Till here's like a group of people. Let's rape that retarded woman.
Yeah. What if it does happen years later and she's like, wow, things have really changed in this city. You used to be able to pretend to be retarded.
You can't even pretend. You can't even exploit their issues.
You can't even exploit retarded
to
people.
deal with a black guy 40 feet away who turned out to...
who was just working with the census, actually.
So in every episode of this podcast, we cancel one person. So say that person's name.
Timmy, she used to work at Kitchenette in...
You're going down, Timmy.
Tribeca.
Twitter, do your thing.
Since closed.
Twitter, do your thing. Timmy, find her at...
That's right. No parody here. It's for real.
You ever try to cancel someone? It's kind of a funny thing to do.
No, have you tried to cancel someone?
I think I tried to cancel Asmus once. I tweeted he said something. It was like, Twitter, do your thing.
Twitter, do your thing.
Just as a prank. They lose their career. So that's good. So she'd always do that, and then so she'd do that like guys walking out. Then she'd see they were white, and she'd be like, "Oh, never mind." And be like, "Hi, how are you?"
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
But yeah, I shit myself. The substitute teaching. I think what happened was, I might be combining two shitting myself events, but
it all gets blurry.
Much like blurry. Yeah, I was driving. I was another kind of a laxative situation. I got Taco Bell sober. My only time doing that. Mm-hmm. Which if you do that, you will shit your pants. Like you have to eat it drunk. I think there's something chemically that keeps you from shitting your pants.
I don't have as many problems.
You eat Taco Bell sober?
I'm not telling you that I eat Taco Bell and then I have the shit of my life, but I don't ever eat it and I'm like, I have to get somewhere quick.
Well, here's what's happened. I ate it and then I'm driving and I was like on the phone and I had one of those nicotine, what do you call it? The, what the fuck? Back when they had like, not vapes, but there was this thing back, electronic cigarette. I was chain smoking it. And that's like a laxative, right? I don't know. Let's look it up. That's what they do in every podcast. Every podcast is just two idiots eventually looking up something online. Let's look it up. Let's look it up. No, I'm joking. It is. That's every podcast. Let's look it up. Really? Harrison Ford made that much money? It's every stupid fucking podcast. But anyway, Sorry to ironically make you do something which was very confusing. I'm like, let's look it up like jackasses. Like, do you want me to look it up or not? I'm like, but anyway, I think and then I parked and then I was walking to school and I shit myself. And I think before
so you did shit yourself multiple times as a substitute teacher?
No, that was one time as a substitute teacher.
Oh, that was the actual event.
Yeah.
So on your way to class.
Yeah.
Having vaped a lot.
I shat myself and I believe I had to ask the principal to drive me home.
You didn't have a car.
No. And now that I'm thinking about it, it might have been.
Oh, God. Do you think?
Oh, you know what? It was Sunday school. It was like a Jewish Sunday school. You know what happens with stand-up? You do a joke and then you forget the real memory.
Yes.
I think I did the joke third grade. Yeah. I'm like, no, it wasn't elementary school. It was a Jewish Sunday school.
I didn't even know they had Jewish Sunday school.
Yeah. And the principal drove me home and I was like.
But isn't Jewish Sunday, isn't it a Sabbath? You're not supposed to do anything, right?
Sabbath is Saturday.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, it was originally Saturday.
Sorry for being a Gentile.
You fucking Christians.
Okay, so
what do Jews do on Christmas?
So then you what? Just have to ask the
I asked the principal to drive me home, and I remember it probably smelled in the car. You know?
Yeah, right. Yeah, probably did.
Yeah. So yeah, and and I don't. You know what? I wasn't a substitute teacher. I was teaching a class. Well, this is the thing. I was teaching a Sunday school class. Well, that's the thing. If you don't know comedy replaces your memory.
No, I know. It's not that it's replacing your memory. It's that when we get to the reality, like each layer is just like, oh, I wasn't a substitute. I was actually there all the time.
I was actually the principal.
It was actually my job. And actually, the person giving me the ride home was my girlfriend at the time.
But do you find that like stand up, you have a story and you're like, it replaces a memory?
Certainly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's also just because of the nature of memory. They say that in science is like you think of the memory is like your brain. You're going through a filing cabinet, but really what it is that all it has in the filing cabinet is like lines, specific things of what happened.
It's a memory of a memory.
And then every time you remember it, you're recreating it.
Yeah, it's a memory of a memory of a memory. Right. We don't really have memories. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah. Well, you got really deep. Somehow we found it within this shit conversation. This shit conversation really became, I'm going to call this episode philosophizing about memory. No, just something philosophical. When I used to shit my pants as a kid, I would take the underwear, and there was a storage room, a really scary storage room, and I would just throw this shitted underwear into the darkness of the storage room.
When I was in...
So it's just like all fossilized over the years.
I remember a story time in kindergarten. I remember distinctly the feeling of having to poop, but holding it.
Yeah.
And then as we were getting up, it was a summer day. I was wearing shorts and boxer shorts underneath them, I think. And as I was getting up, there was just a perfect ball turd. And I'm talking like this big. And I just I knew exactly what it was. And I just go... like this. Nobody
It
sees
was
it.
just on the ground?
Yeah, and I just ran to the bathroom because we had a single occupancy bathroom in the back of the class, and I just threw it in there, flushed the toilet, and washed my hands.
You kind of got lucky. It was just one perfect little...
Could not
So you just grabbed it and ran.
A perfectly round,
You took this shit and ran.
tiny, almost like a rabbit pellet of a turd.
But there was like that one kid who you hated who saw you and they never brought it up. But you always knew like that one kid in the back.
No, actually,
Mark.
maybe. Nobody ever called me on it. So.
Fuck. God. It's so tough being a kid because like so much embarrassing shit happens. And then like if you get caught, the kids make fun of you. And a lot of times I noticed as a young kid, you reveal shit a lot that you don't realize it's embarrassing. Mm-hmm. And then they make fun of you. And so much of being a little kid is being like, shouldn't have said that. Mm-hmm. Most of being a little kid is learning that you shouldn't open up to people.
Yeah.
It's mostly going like,
hello.
Yeah. Oh, I'll try to connect with them. And now they have ammunition to make me feel ashamed and hurt. That's what you learn as a kid.
Remember when so-and-so said, you have such a long memory.
Yeah.
We all have a memory of a kid that said something and we're like, well, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah. And everyone's being made fun of, so you just make fun of them first, you know. But there's all that kids like, no, don't we all, get, suck on mother's breast at 8? That's everyone, right? Wait, your dad doesn't kiss you on the lips? And everyone just gets you. You're like, oh shit. Because you don't realize it's not normal. You kind of have to realize things aren't normal by having other people make fun of you. It's really a fucked up psychology.
I was a dad lip kisser, probably alarmingly late.
Really?
Yeah,
like,
not alarmingly.
Just
a kiss goodnight on the lips. I think probably, hopefully, around the time I stopped pissing the bed. Maybe there's a 1-to-1 ratio. He stops kissing me on the lips, and I stop pissing.
Suddenly, you're no longer a baby. Kissing, the dad kissing on the lips. I mean, people do. I mean, what was his name? Tom Brady. I'm the only person to go, what was his name? But Tom Brady, he like Frenched his kid in that video or whatever.
He's like on the rehab table.
Yeah.
That's what makes it even more weird.
In the full video, he's stroking him off. In the full video, it's like, what, this is weird? You don't do that to your kids? He just like literally strokes his kid off till he comes.
But it's not that he's kissing his son. It's that he's laying down on the rehab table. So he's just flat and he's like, come here and give me a kiss, and makes his son lean over him.
It's a lean over.
Yeah. And then it's a long kiss. And you're like,
well, did your dad not have to lean over when you're lying in your pissed bed? For
no,
that kiss?
I got right up in there. I said, kiss me, daddy.
Yeah, I guess. Well, is it weird for your mom to kiss you on the lips too? Isn't it weird for anyone to kiss you on the lips? If it's not
I don't think
sexual?
I kissed my mom on the lips now. I think
You did then, right? You can't have a dad kissing you on the lip and not a mom.
Yeah. Well, I tried to kiss my mom on the lips and she called me a homophobic slur.
That's tough. That'll create years of therapy right there. If you really want to travel, I want to have a kid, like if I was a woman, to have a kid as a mother. Or even as a father. But I think it's better as a mother. The kid tries to kiss you one day and you're just like, what are you, fucking gay? That would just confuse them so much.
Get out of here, you gay retard.
That's just like therapy right there for years, you know? But yeah, I don't know if I ever kissed my parents on the lips, on the cheek, or anywhere. But I mean, I kissed my mom on the pussy a little. But that's like,
that's
well, that counts as the
lips.
That's the lips. Yeah, that's what if you only kissed your mom on the pussy growing up? And all the other kids talked about lips, and you were talking about those lips, and then one day you realize, like it was like 40-year-old version moment when they're all talking. You realize, like, I always kiss her on the lips, goes to bed, right. That's like, but I don't touch the clit, right? Is that you guys, fellas? Yeah, that's a bad riff.
That's like speaking of easy misdirects, where you're like, isn't it embarrassing? Like you kissed your mom on the lips growing up, and then it's like, well, we all go down on our mom.
That is embarrassing. Let me write that down. Let me write that down in my draft of embarrassing jokes I definitely won't try tonight. No, that's a classic open mic. I always kiss my moms on the lips, you know? Mm-hmm. And then I lick the clit. Talk about her pussy, people. People, talking about her pussy.
Hold on. If the next line is I'm talking about her pussy, people, that kid's hilarious.
Talk about her pussy, people.
That's my favorite comedian. And then I lick the clit and talk about her pussy, people.
The comedian who always says the punchline, people.
The obvious oversell.
Yeah.
Pussy people. That's my favorite comic.
Shat myself in third grade. I was a substitute teacher. Talk about pooping as an adult, folks. Talking about pooping as an adult. Yep. Talking about pooping as an adult.
Oh, that might be your episode.
What's another? Let's do one more. What's another misdirect? I'm trying to think of one
Oh, another misdirect?
that we could use for that character.
I don't know. All my comedy's good, so I'm not. You go ahead.
I
Do
don't
some
know
of
if
these
I have
bad
any,
jokes.
well, what's a classic misdirect from a comic? I'll do a Woody Allen one. Let's see if that works. My grandpa on his deathbed, he sold me this watch. Talking about Jews being stingy, people. All right, I should stop that too. Fuck, I suck at improv. Bad at I'm not good on my feet. Well, do you think we do a whole episode about shitting?
I mean,
It'd be sad if you had done this already before.
I hate to bring it to you. We almost don't have a choice at this point. I don't think we have a ton of time left.
No. We can't pivot at this point. Pivoting.
What are we, a half hour in, and it's mostly
we have,
about shitting?
We have like 15 minutes left,
It
right?
hasn't all been.
minutes. It's 2:55.
So how many? We have 5 more minutes.
Till Jeffrey's in this room.
Well, we gotta commit to the shit.
It hasn't been all shit. It's also been
piss and cum. Yeah. So I mean, but we're trying to. This podcast is about talking about something specific and try to make it about something bigger in the end.
Okay.
I've decided that's what this podcast is right now.
Well, we sort of got into the vein of like childhood and like learning how to become a person, right?
Yeah, because it is like. Yeah, it is, controlling your body and just being embarrassed, but also like learning to like. So much of your childhood is shame. It's just so, like, the fact that you had to grab a piece of shit from the ground and run away with it because you'd rather have that happen than be mocked. I mean, that can't be good for your self-esteem later on in life. To have that memory that you're running through the hallway with a piece of shit in your hand because you don't want people to make fun of you?
I'd argue it actually was great for my self-esteem because I wasn't caught doing it.
Sure, I guess
it would be bad for my self-esteem.
I guess it's much worse if someone goes, is that your shit on the ground?
If somebody was like, remember Sam Evans and how he pooped on the floor and picked it up and flushed it? That would be bad. But I got away with it. It was great for my self-esteem.
I guess that's true. I guess, you really,
it's the being caught that gives you the shame.
As long as you don't get caught, it's fine, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is tough. Like, it is tough getting caught. But I do think people, what do you think the percentage? Maybe we'll look this up. Fonzie, how many adults poop themselves a day? I guess this is probably not recorded.
First of all, how can somebody know that?
Just Google
Hello,
that.
sir. Yes, I'm with the census of shitting yourself.
How many times has Raanan Hershberg shit himself? No, we're not going to find this.
How many adults poop themselves a day?
How much do you poop? No, we're not.
Also, I want to point out I couldn't see it, and I just did this.
It's not poop. It's poop. Because here's the interesting thing. How many adults people poop their pants? There's no way.
How many people? Really quick, it popped up.
You're gonna find out. So it turns out when people shit themselves, they don't immediately call the Census Bureau.
One that.
What? Between the ages of 8 and 65 that defecate in their pants are between 1 million and 1 million and 1,000 any given day. How's that possible? How do they estimate that?
Holidays and seasons play a role.
Interesting.
Additionally, the mean and mode vary in relation to Taco Bell sales and the gross domestic.
I was right.
Well, this is
That's
just
a joke, but
that guy's hilarious.
yeah.
One of the suggested searches right there was how many people poop in the shower. That was pretty funny.
Poop in the shower.
It came up.
I mean, pee in the shower.
Type in how many people poop, and it'll come up.
How many people poop in the pool?
In the shower. Look at that. That means a lot of people are shitting in the shower and being like, well, it can't be that bad.
Well, what about the people you ever poop
It turns out that 1 in 30 people have done a poo.
And will admit to it. Oh, wow, man. That's sociologists doing that test. They really have not. I feel like they could set their sights higher on research. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you ever poop in the pool and hope no one notices?
Never pooped in the pool.
I find I just think that's a hilarious concept. Like, because you could get away with peeing in the pool. Someone would be like, well, maybe you can get away with shitting, even though the shit just floats up.
Yeah.
Like, oh, right. It was peeing that no one notices. Just the idea of someone not.
Did you ever have a friend's dad who was like, now don't pee in the pool. I have a chemical in there that'll turn the water red.
Well, so that's a myth, right?
That's absolutely a myth.
Because I've always been terrified of that. And I saw it in a movie. A movie with Michelle Williams and Sarah Silverman called Takes This Waltz. And she pees in the pool during like a swimming exercise class. And the pool changes color and everyone notices. But that's like... But that movie is set in Canada. That is some fucked up shit they do in Canada.
They don't let you piss in the pool in Canada.
But like that is terrifying. Like, but even if they did that, they would have to have a sign. You know what I mean? Because I pee in the pool all the time.
I did too, and then I said that I pissed.
I pee in the jacuzzi.
I said that I peed in my parents' pool, and my sister-in-law got really mad at me.
I know. Well, the world is divided to people who do that and people who don't do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I pee in the pool every time.
I mean, if we're swimming in the ocean, we're peeing in the pool. That's my philosophy.
Right. I mean, I guess it's a little different because the ocean really does go everywhere, and there is piss in
but the ocean, we are fucking up the ocean.
We are fucking up the. Oh, I see what you're
piss
saying.
Piss is the least thing I worry about when I get in the ocean. You know.
Right. Well, I don't think the peeing in the pool is an environmental thing.
Well, just in terms of dirty. I'm not talking about environment, but just like dirtiness.
Yeah, but also pee is full of like chlorine. That's where you should pee.
Yeah, it's
I
sterile.
don't know. Will you pee in a jacuzzi? I'll pee in a jacuzzi while I'm staring right at someone.
Really?
So close we could kiss, and I'm just peeing right in there. Fuck it.
I pee in the shower for sure.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, of course.
What are we? Mormons? No.
Pee in the bath?
No. The bath is actually where I draw the line.
Well, yeah, of course. I'm not an animal. That's just peeing in your own.
Well, you're a bath guy.
I'm a bath guy, but I won't pee in the bath.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy. If you pee in the bath, you're just peeing on yourself.
You're like, what are you going to do now? I'm just going to relax, draw a long hot bath, and piss in it. I'm just trying to get my mind off stuff. So. And I'll piss in it before I get in it. I stand up and I piss in the hot bath, and then I sit down in it.
Oh, what about this, though? Pee in the sink. Ever do that?
No, I've never pissed in the
I used
sink.
to do that a lot.
You how old?
Like when I was in my 20s.
What?
Yeah, I would pee in the sink.
Why?
Not like the kitchen sink.
What?
Not the kitchen sink.
Who? It's not. What? Why?
I was a nihilist.
So,
I would just like be drunk and on drugs. I had like my own bathroom at my parents.
That's
I was a nihilist living at my parents' place, and I would just go to my bathroom I had on my own. I just pee in the sink, you know,
just cause
nothing matters, man. Why even pee in the toilet? Nothing matters.
I'm so glad you're doing better. I really am.
Nothing matters, man. Why pee in the sink? Why not pee in the sink?
From the bottom of my heart, I'm so proud of you and how far you've come.
Oh yeah, it's been. I've done a lot of. I've lived long enough that I forget I was like a degenerate drug person.
Yeah, you know what's funny is I didn't know you well then, but I did know you because we've known each other for 13 years.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But we probably both started comedy about 13 years ago, right?
Yeah,
we did the. This is probably the stuff we should have been talking about on the podcast. Yeah, I remember we had that we did that competition. I always bring up.
That's right.
It always makes you sad.
Yeah, because it was you, me, and I'm just sad. Yeah. It was you, me, and Tom Takar, and you bring it up, and you're like, "You beat me and Tom Takar." I'm like, "Yes," and I'm probably doing the least well out of us.
Well, yeah, but
career-wise now.
Well, I mean, who's counting? Who's scoring? You know what I mean?
I'm counting. I'm scoring. I'm aware of it every day.
But you're underrated.
Hey, thank you.
That's good.
It is.
You're underrated.
I'd like you to tell that to my checking account. And my parents.
You are a great comic. You're so great.
How's comedy going? I'll tell you how it's going. I am underrated. That's what I'm going to say at my next high school reunion.
I'm not underrated. I'm overrated.
I don't think you're overrated. I think you're rated.
I'm rated.
Yeah.
I'm rated.
Yeah.
But rated is boring. You're underrated. I used to get so jealous of you.
You always bring this up because some fucking lonely open micer who quit 5 years ago.
Who's the most underrated comic? Who's the best comic in the scene? Just hoping some other idiot will fucking say them, and then everyone just tweets out your name. No one ever tweeted out me.
I can't believe that you really do hold on to this.
I like, you like
Raanan,
to get tagged.
You have released multiple specials.
Yeah.
You have done Corden and Fallon. You are friends with some of the greatest comedians in the world.
You got tagged by Micah Bruce.
yeah. Yeah, I got tagged by Mike and Brucey's the high bar of the people I got tagged.
You
by.
got tagged by someone else who's probably OD'd.
I got tagged by people who have either OD'd or who have made the right choice and now have families. That's who thinks I'm the greatest comedian in the world.
You are an incredible comic. I love your.
Thank you very much.
For people who don't know him, check out Sam Evans. I mean,
Check me out.
I mean, he's got an amazing album. It cracked me on the fucking cat in the bed with sleep
baby,
I won't bring her up, but the other person.
It's okay, we're friends. I saw her the other day.
The cat, and I would mean the cat.
My
I don't want to bring up the cat. I didn't even talk about Carmen.
And my now ex cat.
But that bit about you all sleeping together,
yeah, that's
so
true.
amazing.
I appreciate it.
I love that. Yeah, check out his album. It's called
Sweet Baby Boy.
Sweet Baby Boy. Check that out.
Thank you.
And great comic. You have the album. You have
that's
about it. But well, that's about it, folks. Well, I didn't think we'd be scraping the bottom of the barrel so quickly, but
follow me on Instagram.
Yeah,
I do.
This is how much a narcissist I am. I literally was about to say, follow him on Instagram, Raanan Comedy. I was about to point to you. Say what? Yeah, follow him on Instagram. Where can
At really Sam Evans, REALLY Sam Evans.
Was there another Sam Evans?
I came up with that when there was when Glee was still on, and there was a character on there named Sam Evans.
Okay,
but then I just kept it because it's like pretty simple, and also Sam Evans is taken.
Yeah. Well, if anyone has somehow managed to get through this entire episode of shit and piss talk to get to the end, they will have heard that pluck.
That's right. That's right. Which makes it all worth it.
You will hopefully get some fans who are the kind of people who will listen to an entire episode about shit and piss.
It's crazy because I don't really even have a ton of jokes about shit.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I'm like a clean comic.
That's not true.
No, but I'm like cleaner than
that came out bad. You're a brilliant comedian, but you're definitely not a.
I'm not clean.
Yeah,
but yeah. I mean, I'll say the N-word, but like I'm not.
Well, technically, that's.
I guess that's not
funny. I mean, I'm a clean comic. All right, I don't talk about sex, and I say the N.
Yeah, that cleaner. I guess it's not dirty.
Let me ask you, are we done? Or can I ask you this?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. You can
I just want to know if you feel self-conscious, because sometimes I feel like a gross guy, and so that's why I don't do shit material. I feel like people are like I think if I felt like I was like...
You're not gross.
I'm
gross.
I feel gross.
You're skinny or like...
That's your only metric. That's your only metric for grossness.
What would look at you and think gross?
My being, my existence.
But that's all you. That's nothing that's out... That's your knowledge of yourself, but that's not something people see.
Oh, okay.
People don't see that you picked up a piece of shit at 8 or whatever. I'm adding a couple years.
Hey, well, now if you start sharing these clips, huh?
8's a little old for that.
Let's get the word out.
8's a little old for running with a piece of poop in your hand, right? But
a piece makes it sound worse. I want to stress that it was pellet shaped.
It was pellet, like a rabbit.
Almost a perfect sphere.
Like you could eat it and you'd be fine.
Probably. Yeah.
What am I doing with this podcast? We're talking. Like, I had all these questions about comedy, what it means to be a straight white man in comedy.
The kind of shit where you probably wipe clean, but you definitely go, well, I need more fiber.
Yeah. Okay, well, there you have it, folks. Words of wisdom by Sam Evans. And thank you so much for doing the pod. And
the tip of the Hershberg?
Tip of the Hershberg. I think that's what we're going with.
It is a good title.
I'm obviously not going to have this episode first because it's subpar, but no, I'm joking. I'm joking. It's great.
I like what hurts is that it's the first one recorded. So definitely you're like, well, compared to anything else I'm going to do, probably the worst episode of this podcast.
It's a great episode. I don't know if I can do shit for the first one.
Sure.
Probably like third or fourth, you know?
Yeah. You put me wherever you need to.
What if I just do a podcast where I tell people afterwards? So we're not going to use it. You just do like American Idol. This will not be used. We're going to delete this, but you gave it a good try, and I appreciate you for coming all the way to Midtown in the middle of the day.
Thanks.
But obviously it's not.
It's been an honor to shit the bed on this.
Hey, shit the bed.
All right.
All right, well, go find him. Go follow him on Instagram. Amazing album. And
that's about it.
We'll be back next week on Tip of the Hershberg.